Oh hey, I didn't see you there. I was just over here thinking deep thoughts and doting over the magnificence of Florence Pugh. Convincing, sexy, mysterious. It needs work, I know, but I want to be ready for when she personally violently rejects me one day. Welcome, Pugh peeps, to another episode of See No Evil with me, JP Sebastián, in the flesh. So much of it, and all threatening only days away from Christmas pudding. You would have guessed correctly, on today's menu is Pudding Pie Miss Florence Pugh, presently streaming in The Wonder, which I needle with film criticism in later in the show. Right at the end of the road, I beg drive my car to Capuchin up, little guy, and I beg all of you to see this overlooked undermonkey. But before the hefty stuff, I gotta warn the Chalamet freaks, you get to pour heart and soul into the latest go-release of Bones and All. Other movies exist too. How the hell does The Fablemans look this good? I'm here to share. It's all coming up on CNE with me, JP. Apes Assemble! Movies to keep an eye out for this week. Gathered even more trailers for underdog nobodies who deserve your time, but with blockbuster season knocking down the door, I have to cover these big ones already in the convo. Thankfully, they all look pretty good too. It seems like the hack to thankfully trick in Willem Dafoe into lead roles for a change is to just lock him in confined spaces. The drip god's gone from unraveling sanity in a lighthouse to unpacking his faculties in a penthouse with Inside. Defoe's an art thief trapped in the lap of luxury after a heist gone sideways, with only priceless masterpieces for company and the oxygen around him. The house locks itself down with reinforced doors and windows, the mercury's rising, no food, no water, no comms with the outside world, so there are wonderfully grody scenes of him making out with the refrigerator and choking down exotic DIY sushi. He's stuck with his thoughts, seems a bunch of remorse, baggage, etc., seems to an interesting tension of secretly loving art dearly, but flipping these babies for cold hard cash. So he gets all kinds of expressive at death's door. Inside's out late March. A movie that used cramped spaces to brilliant liberating effect actually was Magic Mike XXL. If you were able to pull your eyes from the glory of churning, you'd have appreciated Steven Soderbergh's astute cinematography too. And now that hero of film's back to directing on Magic Mike's Last Dance. Ironically, IMDb's got the stripper movie listed as plot kept under wraps. But Tatum yet again awakens something in a woman waylaid in her lust for life. Salma Hayek manages to fit all that Channing on a plane to London, where he introduces Brits to the wondrous world of sexual arousal, I guess. Nah, it's some kind of stage play that obviously ends up paralleling their Byrne 2 hot romance. From even little flashes, it looks like Hayek puts in the work to keep up with actual ex-exotic dancer Channing Tatum. All routines look like they hate physics getting in the way of a good time. So expect salivating, jaw-dropping quantum twerking. That's not real. Please no one develop the quantum twerk, black holes, etc. We've all got a big soft spot for the lovable big lug, and I hope it's a fun send-off for Magic. His last dance is mid-Feb. An even crazier hill I'm ready to die on, and I should probably get a grenade chucked at me quickly, is that I feel like Searching was worthy of Oscar nods. Even White Castle loyalist John Cho could have gotten nom love. How will its spiritual sequel, Missing, push that innovative envelope? For a start, I hope it was a good call Anish Chaganty handing directorship to his Searching editors, but they've probably got a good finger on the pulse of its central conceit. All footage and action played out exclusively on computer screens, mobile devices, webcams, the Internet of Things, etc. It's still about someone kidnapped, layered in twists, etc. I like that it has more mass media spectacle like Gone Girl. I'll be looking for it end of Jan. And there's probably a world of things worse than a slap in the face. Like, say, being enslaved for life. So everyone chill on Big Willie. Will Smith helms the true story of the man in the iconic photo capturing the scars of slavery's evil. Emancipation sees him first taken from his family, enslaved by Ben Foster, Hull or High Water, dehumanized but never broken. He escapes, survives the Louisiana wild, after which he gets a gun and gets some justice back. More stories, please, of the actuality of emancipation arising in slave revolt. Antoine Fuqua's eye looks strong here, but it's strangely straight to streaming December 9th.
They beat me. They whip me. They break the bones in my body more times than I can count.
And now, latest go-releases. Only the brave tread here. This week's a memorial to new movies. Why so dramatic? Well, we're only 3 weeks into Wakanda Fever, and now there are a lot of new ones fighting for your eyes. I mean, they probably won't all bomb, but I'm here to do my bit to make sure some of these gems aren't all just washed out in a pretty preoccupied marketing machine. Too long, didn't listen, other movies landed this Friday, you should treat yourself. Disney said we took you to Mexico with Coco, Polynesia with Moana, Italy on Luca, and Encanto's Colombia. Name another country. You cannot. Next stop, Strange World. That sees another eclectic family in a long line of explorers, with Jake Gyllenhaal feeling like the inadequate odd one out, now tasked with charting an alien planet. It's also got Dennis Quaid, Gabrielle Union, Lucy Liu, and no doubt giving life to all manner of goos and oozes, the excellent Alan Tudyk. The style of it all looks like it has no home, but hopefully it's good enough for your littlest strangers. I found a surefire way, however, to finally cease your kids religiously screeching along to Frozen. Take them to see Roald Dahl's Matilda the musical. On the big screen in some countries now, then they can also drive you nuts when it moves over to streaming next month. Actually, this looks pretty good. None of that streamer tacky gloss, and Stephen Graham, Emma Thompson, and Lashana Lynch look class as always. It's adapted West End roots, and even as a guy who generally sighs at musicals, I found director Matthew Warchus' previous sing-song and dance in Pride really well polished. Check your cinema listings. And because sometimes the kid carers need care too, Nanny looks right creepy. It's a pretty basic contradiction, but no one wants to look it in the eye. Who takes care of the nanny's children? And on top of spiraling paranoia for her own back home, that's like 6,000 kilometers between New York and Dakar, is the nightmare of US immigration. I'm keen for its obvious Get Out and Rosemary's Baby comparisons. Good date night horror. Find a babysitter for the kids. Maybe. Hey, remember when they finally arrested Harvey Weinstein, then just cleaned out media of all high-profile patriarchal sex predators, and then there was just no more systemically abetted abuse? Yeah, me neither. Me Too might have been put on snooze, but She Said looks like a charged wake-up. Force of Nature, Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan look like a strong team-up for that classic high-strung rabbit-hole journalism. David and Goliath against the system type of thing, like masterpiece spotlight. Truth and tension enough for a big screen? I'd give it a chance. And sure, pen mightier than the sword, blah blah blah, but what beats a blunt force propagandistic ball mace to the white meat? I just happily handed my brain to Top Gun Maverick. Maybe devotion's the next logical step. It's like Glenn Powell did a mid-air refuel between movies, and Jonathan Majors already looks like the best thing in Ant-Man and Creed coming up, so why not here too? What can't he do? Hopefully at the heart of its career war jalopies it has the clip of a tomcat, but I have my doubts. Limited theatrical circulation starts for a sequel critics are eating up, fans are gagging for, but kinda makes singular me just want to cry. Glass Onion returns Daniel Craig as Detective Benoit Blanc to the Knives Out saga, with yet another all-star cast, looking to do some comedy crimes. I'm hoping it's just the nature of trailers that I didn't laugh once, despite my affection for Craig and Bautista. I'll wait for it streaming next month, but hey, I'm just an outlier layer of the veg, so appealing to a ton of you. By all means, go wild at a good few cinemas without delay. And releases are now globally staggered from this weekend to March, but that's not the only reason I'll keep talking about The Fabelmans. Mostly, I'll just be stuck on a loop in awe at how incredible this looks. Lots of people try to do stories about the power of story and myths. I'll chat about the wonder later, but Spielberg believes down to every cell and frame that cinema has the power to change the world. And even for a skeptic like me, a mere trailer's dose of optimism has me wanting to believe in that Spielberg magic again. The Fabelmans, a master's jaw-droppingly gorgeous movie about movies making us better to each other, is better on a big screen. We'll hug it out there. And I hate to do this, but I'm gonna rapid fire through the tiniest movies in the fight for their lives right now. Timely as ever, Utama's a painfully beautiful tale about the little guy treading water to survive against climate change. Bolivian water from Cochabamba to Bond is a sign of the times, and that time is now. The title, What Do We See When We Look at the Sky, just decimated my word count, but it looks entrancing, and it's a rare romance I'm here for. Support the little guy too, and I'll give them more airtime in future. But Timothée Chalamet's the obvious reason Bones and All will take the biggest bite from the weekend, so why don't I let the fine young cannibal speak for himself?
Bones and All is a love story. It's about two people that are not only safe with each other, but really in love, comforted by one another. I was moved by Lee and Marin's story. carrying something that you carry shame with or can't quite make sense of. I was attracted to this character of Lee because I felt he had figured out how to game the system to survive with this condition.
Why did you offer to bring me along?
You seem nice. His biggest vulnerability is true love, is kindness. So when he finds that with Marin, in those moments where you're able to fall for someone else, you look more closely in the mirror, I think what he sees is terrifying.
I felt that that character was a great role for Timothy. And of course, we had a great experience doing Call Me By Your Name. I was experiencing the beautiful blooming of his path in cinema.
What was your first time like?
Who's a babysitter?
Mine too. I think he's one of the most unique performers alive today. Also somebody who's so spontaneous. Okay. Who's really inspired by what's happening in the moment, and you want to work with people like that because that's where you get, the special little things that happen.
I think he's so heartbreaking, and I think everybody's heartbreaking in the movie. Timothy in particular, though.
Timothy is a producer on this film and had a very positive effect on this film.
And it was an opportunity to get to develop something for the first time, getting to take my experience and putting that into a character.
That's how this works.
How what works?
This, whatever this is.
He brings a sense of insecurity, tenderness, that beautiful sense of openness and impossibility that are so strong.
You don't think I'm a bad person.
All I think is that I love you.
As a fully certified Florence Pugh dude, I've had my eye on The Wonder for a while, so I finally streamed it for this episode's film criticismian. But I also just wanted a less blockbustery breather after Black Panther before a full swing December of billion-dollar blue dudes and Puss in Boots, both of which I do look forward to anyhow. Post-Great Potato Famine Island, an English nurse, that's Pugh, is tasked with surveilling an 11-year-old girl who claims to have eaten nothing for months, allegedly sustained only by God's grace. A local committee who summoned Pugh mostly seemed concerned with her verifying it as miracle or not, having her hold vigil over the girl for 2 weeks, swapping shifts with a nun. They find little Anna, played by Kíla Lord Cassidy, seemingly in good health, surrounded by believers making pilgrimage, and unsurprisingly her family hostile to the observation but cooperative. Opposed to any nun stereotypes you might have, Pugh's rational, evidence-based, all that stuff. The committee treats her, though, like nothing more than a cold measuring instrument of Anna, which she starts challenging as she sees dangerous signs and symptoms on the horizon, concerned not just for the child's survival, but the mental state that led her to this otherworldly trial in the first place. A word of warning at the outset about the marketing of The Wonder. By now, Pugh's golden goose for your next big spooky cult movie, because she's brilliant. So just going on the trailer, I was psyched to see something as labyrinthine as Shutter Island. But be prepared to just watch a decent drama with not even a smidge of Scorsese's mystery. The Wonder believes the way we get through the horror of being alive is by the power of the stories we tell ourselves. So it begins with a once upon a time type narrator, and surprisingly a shot of the movie's set behind the scenes, laying bare the camera gear, lighting, and the plywood false house of Anna, the tools of the good lie, or the lie for good. The camera then floats through the set to an 1860 scene, where Florence Pugh is in character and it's off to the races. A previous director, Ari Aster, did similarly with his Hereditary model house opening, trapping you as another plaything to some greater force just outside the window. Whereas in The Wonder, this kinda counterproductively positions you at a godlike arm's length, rather than dragging you deep. This is down in part to its decision to include a narrator far too explicitly spelling out how they hope you'd enter their story, embracing belief as much as its characters do. The fourth wall break screws itself, setting your antenna tingling going forward, either distracting yourself with the details, or feeling too empowered as an even greater observer to the observing being done by the nurse and its drama down below. This reminds me of a bittersweet conundrum Darren Brown explained. Choosing to preface his shows with admission, it's all just trickery, sets his audience to detective mode, eyes wide for sleights of hand, hidden wires or slipped linguistic cues. Whereas, if some more flamboyant magician begins by lying that they learned their next feat through a century of astral travel, somehow we're more prone to suspend disbelief and go with the flow. As Michael Caine closes my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, The Prestige, you want to be fooled. Long story short, this behold the story of story-making mechanic doesn't quite land in The Wonder, and may even hamper it as it goes forward. As for its plea, you embrace belief. Even relatively heavy-handed stuff like Shyamalan's Split do better to string you along with its thesis that the power of belief can summon actual mind-over-matter phenomena. That you should have believed James McAvoy all along. That just sounds like a good family motto. I'm putting that on a crest. Believe James McAvoy. He's a great actor and a scary, scary man. The nurse is also unevenly written, at times weirdly terse with the kid like a battle-scarred detective with a rookie. My family don't call me any of those names, she groans. I have no family. Dude, she's 11. Ask her if she's ever seen a pony or some shit. For goodness sakes. And despite being a stand-in for science, she is strangely taken aback when her nun partner brushes her off, cautioning her against conferring after the nurse asks if she's noticed any change. The nun is just reminding you of the experimental design you agreed to, and technically should be doing better to uphold. What's the fuss? In that same vein, when eventually the girl is brought before the committee to corroborate or rubbish a claim by the nurse, the scientific character doesn't raise alarm about a likely manipulator of the kid being present at the cross-questioning. It goes without saying Florence Pugh delivers, and has the talent to separate the nurse from her greatest hits in the past. Kidlet Kíla Lord Cassidy performs even the cliché, whispery, wise child parts well, and is incredible in scenes of her inner conflict. Great little actress. Especially good in The Wonder is Pugh's outer conflict with real-life and movie mother to the kid actress, Elaine Cassidy. They stand off over the twisted concern that the nurse might be secretly feeding her daughter. It's really kind of dark. I think it handles Faith relatively fairly. It's likely anyone trapped in this game is just as worried about saving face socially as they are about the pearly gates. The priest, by legend, Ciarán Hinds, seems reasonable, and Pugh's not there to brutally rip the opiate from the masses. But it could have done more to dig into the conditions that create this dependency in the first place, and the suffering. The whole point of that misunderstood opiate quote. Why an Irish person might desperately need hope God will provide before being subjected to the next brutal famine. Don't expect a Kobayashi twist ending, don't expect a heap of depth. The Wonder's a well-acted drama and is 6.5. If you love Florence Pugh, as in to say if you have air in your lungs right now, it's probably worth a Sunday afternoon stream. Time for a semi-regular seg in Capuchin Up, Little Guy, which I devote to any pedigree underdog released this week last year that never stood a chance against whatever was #1 at the box office. I encourage you then to give a chance to Ryusuke Hamaguchi's Drive My Car, which goes for a song compared to chart-topping Encanto at the same time. A masterpiece, Tokyo Drift / rideshare synergy spin-off. I thrive on lies, it's none of this. Yet another Haruki Murakami adaptation. I'd also recommend 2004's Tony Takitani and the more obvious 2018 masterpiece, Burning. Murakami's work can do wonderfully weird things to your head, inducing a feeling of mystery without necessarily being a mystery. The mystery is the mind-bending agreement between you and the author, the spooky sense of memories of others arising in yourself, strange familiarity with fictitious characters. And I promise I've read more than just hard-boiled Wonderland for these descriptions. These weirdnesses pervade even the romance novels. And while Drive My Car is more down-to-earth as a story than these sci-fi / fantasy feel blends I'm talking about, the movie wastes no time seizing on otherworldliness, opening in an eerie kind of half-light on a naked woman I can't show you here, surprise surprise, in repose on a bed, her breasts completely in shadow and a wispy curvature like a spirit, a floating head, an already dead person. She strangely narrates a scene of a girl sneaking into a crush's home with the monotony of precise and total recall, on autopilot, channeling from somewhere else in the ether, like an oracle or a petrified person recounting a ghost story. And you're kinda watching this going, what's going on here? Who, me? But the deliveries worked its spell on you and you're hooked. Turns out she was sort of debriefing her fellow writer husband. The morning after sex which strangely inspires something like automatic storytelling to arise in her, in the heat of the moment. It's one of several moments that make you sort of think, for instance, man, human beings mining for story is just such a strange and amazing thing that we're all capable of doing, in part thanks to the absolutely captivating performances of Hidetoshi Shinomiya and Reika Kirishima. Days later, without warning, she suffers a brain hemorrhage and dies, leaving husband Yusuke Kafuku with so much unsaid, a bundle of remorse, pain, sadness, and love. In much the same way, Murakami's Norwegian Wood, also named for a Beatles song, involves a sick-making relief that someone you love, but who was hard to bear, is finally gone. Heavy stuff. Years later, he travels to Hiroshima to direct the production of Chekhov's Uncle Vanya. The theater company insists he accept a driver while there, which is how we meet Misaki Watari, played by Toko Miura, a seemingly stoic, get the job done right and keep to herself type. At first, Yusuke's preciousness over his vintage Saab and his sexism about women drivers leaves him a bit distant in the back seat. But he warms up as he feels her seamlessly filling a once lonely spot in the safe space of his car, which he ritualistically uses to rehearse lines accompanied only by cassettes of his dead wife, reciting all other Vanya characters. Misaki also helps him navigate drama arising from the new job, but thankfully she's not just treated like a magical catalyst for his well-being, like some bag of Vans crap. She's got her own history entombed under her stony demeanor. Back at the theater, the drama on the drama involves the casting of an actor previously under his wife, and probably literally under her too. And so unfolds timeless questions about the meaning of love, loss, loyalty, and truth, all through the complexities others are going through too. Surprise, surprise, Yusuke. Other people go through pain as well. Another technical complexity actually grants an assist to simplifying the essential shit of life we all go through. Yusuke's Chekhov is performed by actors of different languages in their mother tongues, each in the dark with their co-stars, their guiding light only being the timing of the Uncle Vanya script. This opens Drive My Car to some other holy moments, like a mute actress auditioning in her Korean sign directly at Yusuke with such elemental emotional intensity, pleading with him to endure and live life to its natural end in any language it resonates. That's one of 3 scenes for Park Yu-rim alone that really stir you emotionally, the other shared with Sonya Yuan, after which character Yusuke correctly calls out, "Cut! Something happened just now." And as well as marveling at the act of writing, for a minute, you feel like acting is another miraculous, weird human invention. In fact, Park steals the show with her extremely moving closing monologue to the Chekhov. This scene alone could have carried the Oscar, which it rightly took for International, and also joined shamefully only 13 other non-English movies nominated for Best Picture through Oscar history. I wish I had an hour to talk about this 3-hour movie. Yes, holy crap, 13% of a day. But it's so brilliantly balanced, it goes by briskly, holding you with the wonder of just what everyone's going through and will they ever find some sort of modicum of peace. I've not even mentioned its perfect cinematography, its perfect score, its perfect everything. The only thing this 10 out of 10 is missing is you. I promise you will walk away at least a smidge of a better human to others. Do watch Drive My Car. I'm aggressively orangutangent against Academy treatment of International eventually. Stake out 3 hours for Drive My Car while I sleep, maybe. Support foreign film, loves. Next week, I pull my Team Taylor Joy card reviewing the menu. Thanks for now. Join me then. Oyasumi nasai from JP and CNE.